Now, today we're going to talk about the transgender movement and how that's involved with it being that avenue into transhumanism. Now, we've discussed balance and the worship of the androgynous beings and how balance can bring you to the Mercury enlightenment, which is in alchemy, a form that transcends all of heaven and earth. So we've discussed this as well. If you guys don't remember that icon, the little symbol on the left, that is the alchemy symbol for Mercury, which again, when you reach that, you reach full enlightenment and you transcend all of heaven and earth. Like you just go beyond the physical, which again, that is Gnostic in its understanding, because once you reach Gnosis, that enlightenment, you can then exit all of creation and join the other gods and goddesses up there. So it's the same thing. Again, it's all the same stuff. All these religions and all these things, they're all the same foundation. It's just different coats of paint thrown on it. That's one of the things that I really want you guys to understand. I'm going to keep repeating it because it's something that we got to understand. And so Mercury, which is Gnosis, which of course is balance, serpent knowledge to the Hindus. We've talked about how the Freemasons also believe in this as well. Knights Templar, the Catholics, all these different groups, they all believe in this stuff. They're all the same thing, showing their connection to reaching that next knowledge or that next consciousness. Now, usually one of the first questions on the belief of transgenderism, transhumanism, is if everyone is androgynous and transhuman, how do we continue to reproduce? How do we continue to repopulate? That's usually one of the questions. I've actually gotten several emails about that, saying, well, if everybody's supposed to be androgynous, how are they supposed to keep it going? Let's go back to a Ray Kurzweil quote from last week that will kind of direct us to the answer that we're going to come across. So if we take a look, this was from last week, but we'll go over it again. This is Ray Kurzweil from 2005. Remember, this is 2005. The first half of the 21st century will be characterized by three overlapping revolutions. In genetics, nanotechnology, and robotics, we are in the early stages of the G revolution today. By understanding the information processes underlying life, we are starting to learn to reprogram our biology to achieve the virtual elimination of disease, dramatic expansion of human potential, and radical life extension. The end revolution will enable us to redesign and rebuild molecule by molecule our bodies and brains and the world with which we interact, going far beyond the limits of biology. The most powerful impending revolution is the R. Human-level robotics and their intelligence derived from our own, but redesigned to far exceed human capacities. R represents the most significant transformation because intelligence is the most powerful force in the universe. Intelligence is sufficiently advanced, is smart enough to participate and overcome any obstacles that stand in its path. So with this, we understand there's three different revolutions that Kurzweil's talking about: futurists, transhumanists. This is the revolutions that they believe in. G, N, and R, which is genetics, nanotechnology, and robotics. We're seeing all three of these advancing rapidly, like every single day. These things are increasing and moving forward. So keep in mind, this was 2005 that this quote came out about this, and look at what we got going on now. And these are only the things that we're allowed to see at this point. But the G revolution, or the genetics revolution, that's kind of our answer on this, because that's what they have come up with to that question of, if everybody's transhuman and androgynous, how are they going to reproduce? According to many in this field, the futurist transhuman technology field, and also described by Hubbard herself, the genetics revolution is not just redesigning DNA, it is also affecting our own genetic code and entering the process of self-evolution physically. So this is the answer that all these futurists and transhumanists are giving, as well as Marx Hubbard herself, because she also is a futurist and a transhumanist as well. So the pursuit of genetic modification isn't anything new. We've established that. If you go back in history, you go way back in history, you look at Hitler and the Nazis. They were pursuing eugenics, genome modification, and other practices that I can't say on YouTube. I'm kind of pushing the limit of even bringing this up right now, so hopefully, pray that this doesn't get kicked off. But they were involved with all these different types of practices with this, and all of them have that satanic belief behind them. They were the ones that were driving that forward, was the Satanist belief. That same Satanism, that same belief, is the same belief that worships the Baphomet, the androgyny, that androgynous beast. It's all connected. Remember that. So keep that in mind. It's all this stuff is connected. So that Satanistic belief that Hitler and the Nazis were using for their programs is the same belief that worships the Baphomet, who is the androgynous being, who has the as above, so below, pointing to the balance moons as well. Flash forward to today. You guys see where I'm going with this. We see Klaus Schwab, Uncle Klaus, who grew up in Nazi Germany with a family history connected to Hitler and the Nazi Party. And his programs involved are a part of the same G revolution programs that Hitler was doing back in the day. So again, even going back to the Nazis to today, it's the same mystery religion that was leading Hitler, that is now leading Klaus, who is now leading all these futurists and transhumanists. You can see that mystery chain connecting all of these people together, because why? They're all pursuing the exact same things. You look at all these technology guys, all these technocrats, you look at all the futurists and the transhumanists and stuff, they can try and spice it up and say, oh, you know, it's good for humanity and da-da-da-da. They're pursuing the same exact stuff that Hitler was doing. It's literally the same thing. That's my whole point on this, is you're seeing mystery religion leading all these different groups that look like they're all separate and doing their own things, but in actuality, they're all together. If we take a look at a quote by a guy by the name of Greogry Stock, we'll get more information on this G revolution. So let's take a look at this quote. Now, this is from 2002. So this is even 3 years before Kurzweil had his thing. Greogry Stock says, the arrival of safe, reliable germline technology, which is the manipulation of the genetics of egg or sperm or germinal cells, will signal the beginning of human self-design. Kind of seeing that today, aren't we? It will transform the evolutionary process by drawing reproduction into a highly selective social process. It's as creepy as it sounds, guys. I'll read it again. It will transform the evolutionary process by drawing reproduction into a highly selective social process. That's exactly what Hitler was doing. That is far more rapid and effective at spreading successful genes than traditional sexual competition and mate selection. From a spiritual perspective, the project of humanity's self-evolution is the ultimate embodiment of our science and ourselves as a cosmic code, cosmic instrument in our ongoing emergence. You see the connection? You see how it's all connected? The same. He's talking about the same stuff Hitler was working on that we're just doing today, but he's sprucing up, make it sound good, along with the cosmic instrument, which is the cosmic code from the Emerald Tablets by Hermes Trismegistus, that's involved with all the things that we've been talking about. Boom. Right back here. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. So before we continue to go further with this, you might be asking, who on earth is Greogry Stock? I'm glad you asked. Because I've got an answer for you. Let's take a look at Greogry Stock. Who is this guy? This random dude. Well, these are just some of the things that he's a part of and or has been a part of and or has been researching. We take a look. He studied at Harvard and Johns Hopkins. Ooh, those are two not so good places, are they? So he studied there. He's the founding director of UCLA's program on medicine, technology, and society, co-founder of EcoEOS genetic diagnostics. He's the director of Napo Pharmaceuticals, research professor in the Department of Genetics and Genomic Sciences at Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, co-founder and director of Signum Biosciences, founder and director of Socratic Sciences. He's on the California Advisory Committee on Stem Cells and Reproductive Cloning. He's on the editorial board of the American Journal of Bioethics. He's the associate director of the Center for Life Science Policy Studies, and he's an advisor at the Brain Preservation Foundation. This dude has got some very interesting things that he's a part of. He's got some very interesting knowledge on all this stuff. Now, as bad as that is, he knows what he's talking about when it comes to this ungodly stuff that they're doing. Now, if we also take a look at some of the books he's written, he's got one, it's called Metaman, which is the merging of humans and machines into a global superorganism. That's revealing. But this is the one I want to point out. Redesigning Humans, Choosing Our Genes, Changing Our Future. And the synopsis of this is a groundbreaking work. Redesigning Humans tackles the controversial subject of engineering the human germline. The process of permanently altering the genetic code. I'll say that again. The process of permanently altering the genetic code of an individual so that the changes are passed on to the offspring. Gregory Stock, an expert on the implications of recent advances in reproductive biology, has glimpsed the inevitable future of biomedical engineering. Inevitable, guys. Within decades, Stock asserts technological advances will bring meaningful changes to our offspring. This scientific revolution promises to fundamentally alter the human species. With recent findings presented in a new Afterward, Stock's provocative assessment cuts through the debate to envision an age of radical biotechnological advancement and unprecedented, here we go, human choice. Choose what you want your child to be like, look like, function. You want certain type of hair, you want certain type of eye color, you want this personality trait, you want that personality trait. That's what they're trying to do. And guess what? That's the same stuff that Hitler was trying to do too. Same stuff. And I took a gander at his website. That's right, a gander. There's no geese on his website because gander of geese. Anyways, took a look at his website, and I found a couple quotes on there from him. They're quite disturbing. Very red flag oriented. We take a look. It says the Great Reset. Oh, wait, what? Oh yeah, that's right. The Great Reset. Uncle Klaus is Great Reset is occurring now. A profound shift, not just in our lives, but in the history of life itself. Another quote says, we are incredibly fortunate to be alive here and now. We are the, there it is, co-creators in this new chapter of life. There's a red flag word. Ding, ding, ding. Tell him what he's won. Lifetime supply of nothing. That's right there. Co-creation. Middle row, very top. Interesting. If we also take a look at the last one, we are enough. As Christians, we know that we ain't even close to enough. That's why we need Jesus. There is nothing in anything that we do at all where we are enough. We need Jesus. Period. End of story. End of discussion. If anybody tells you you are enough, say, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. So that's just some of the stuff on his website. Some of his quotes. That's some of his books. That's some of his background and history. It's, again, it's evil. It ain't good. He's trying to play God. But he has I'll say demonic knowledge on moving this stuff forward. These people, sometimes I think to myself, because there's actually a couple people on here that, I've looked at and I'm like, how on earth do they have the time? These people are like 50 and they've done everything twice. And it's like, how on earth do they do that? And I think it's because, guys, I know that a lot of people don't like to look at this, but there's demonic like possession increasing tenfold today. And a lot of these people, these no-name people, that's another thing that I talked about last week, but I really want people to understand. These faces that everybody sees, Klaus Schwab, Elon Musk, all these people, my mind's drawn a blank. You know who I'm talking about, though. These big names everybody talks about and stuff. That's great. They want you focused on them. It's people like this Greogry Stock dude. These are the ones that are really pushing this stuff forward. And how they're able to accomplish the stuff that they do in such a short period of time, I think it's because a lot of them are, in fact, possessed. I really do. Because there's no way that they can have this knowledge that fast and accomplish all these things that quickly without something in them driving them to do it. Now, Greogry Stock, just a little background on all this stuff, because it's good to have a background on these people that are really pulling the strings, getting this stuff done. The grunt work, really. Greogry Stock has also spoken at the World Future Society. The World Future Society is actually an exclusive futurist club that is co-founded by Barbara Marx Hubbard, with members such as Carl Sagan, Buckminster Fuller, Herman Kahn, Arthur C. Clarke, Gene Roddenberry, and Margaret Mead. If you go to their website, which is the World Future Society, they've got just a basic thing on the front page for you, but if you want to access anything else, you have to become a member of it. They're, again, whenever things have like society in their name, there's usually a lot of stuff going on behind the curtain that they don't want you to see. And there's a lot of very bad people involved with this group. And one of those people that's involved with this group, again, somebody you may never have heard of, but she's very important to all this stuff. And her name is Julie Friedman Steele. Julie Friedman Steele is the CEO and board chair of the World Future Society. She is also a leading futurist who is featured in Encyclopedia Britannica alongside, however you want to put it, none other than Ray Kurzweil, Noah Yuval Harari. Again, we've heard those two names before. I'm guessing probably 98% of you have never heard of Julie Friedman Steele before, but she's just as important as those two, according to who she's featured alongside. She has backgrounds in economics, biotechnology, artificial intelligence, the entertainment industry, the real estate industry, neuroscience, genetics, and a bunch of others I just didn't throw on there. Again, she's also a board member of the World Alliance Forum and the U.S. Patent Office. She's an advisory board member of the UN Women for Peace Association. And she also had her little hands involved with the UN Sustainable Development Goals and environmental, social, and governance policies. You might know that as ESG. That is one of the grunts that is making this stuff happen. And she is the chairman of Barbara Marx Hubbard, her, just lost the name of it. My mind just went blank. World Future Society. There we go. Sorry. My brain had to shut down and restart real quick. This is somebody that I didn't know who that was. I had no clue. But then when you start looking into what she's involved with and what she does, jump at Jehoshaphat. Now, getting back to Greogry Stock. Greogry Stock is in the business of allowing people to choose the genetics of their children through DNA modification. That's what he wants. The question we're trying to find out, or the answer to the question that we're trying to find out, is if androgyny takes over, how will children be birthed? The next step after just DNA modification And I know this is sick, guys, but this is where we're going. Synthetic children. And this isn't new. These are just a few of the news articles, blog posts that you can find, some mainstream media, some futurist websites, some scientific journals, of what they're trying to accomplish. Synthetic mouse embryo develops a beating heart. Then there's why we should embrace artificial wombs. Now that might be really small. I'll read part of it to you. It says a human fetus developing outside of a uterus may seem like science fiction at first, but artificial wombs are quickly becoming a reality. They've been tested successfully on lambs, and some researchers predict that they'll be ready for human use in less than a decade. This was written in 2021. Despite criticism from opponents who see artificial wombs as unnatural, which they are, or believe they will be harnessed to create genetically modified designer babies, which they will, this paper argues that the technology, once proven safe, is wholly ethical, which it's not, and in certain cases, it may be unethical not to use it. That's how warped we've become. I mean, just 2 days ago, scientists grow a whole model of human embryo without sperm or the egg. We see the world's first artificial womb for humans is in development. You've got the question of parents can look at their fetus in real time. The artificial womb's the future. And even a blog post that says, with artificial wombs, who needs women? And what that really means is we can all be androgynous transhumans because we won't need to use the classic way that God has designed anymore. And I'm sure a lot of you saw this too, which was the Ecto-Life concept video. It was getting passed around like it was actually in development when really it was just somebody who created a what if type of video. But that what if is what they're working on. They're working towards that what if concept video of Ecto-Life. That is the answer. When we take that conscious evolution to the next step, the children will be synthetic. The next generation will be synthetic. It will all be designed, grown in labs and artificial wombs. And that's what they're trying to do. This, again, is the next step that they're trying to get to of being gods. Gregory Stock has also spoken at Singularity University, which brings us back to the Technology Young Global Leaders Group, a leadership program of Singularity University is called Abundance360. Now, if you guys want to know about the Singularity Group and you didn't see part 6, I talked about it then, so go check that out. We're going to move on to this section, this branch of the University of Singularity called Abundance360. This is where it's going to be the wild ride. That was just a taste test of what's coming up. Let's start at the very front of Singularity University, or Abundance360, I should say. We take a look at it. Abundance360 by Singularity University. Embrace the future, change the world. I ain't embracing any future. The only thing I'm embracing is that rapture before all this junk really starts getting rained on with fire. So it says, again, it might be too small. I'll read it for you. It says, fuel your ambitions, accelerate your wealth, and amplify your global impact. Man, that sounds like prosperity gospel to me. Abundance360 shapes your mindset and gives you access to world-changing technologies. Join a dynamic and private community of entrepreneurs, CEOs, and investors who meet annually at our in-person summit and quarterly during our virtual workshops. Now, if we take a look at the second part, it says, embrace the future. Don't fear it. No, I'm not fearing anything. This Jesus is going to come and get me out of here. Says we will experience more change this coming decade than we have in the entire past century. Converging exponential technologies like AI and biotech are disrupting and reinventing every industry and business model. How do you surf the tsunami of change and survive and, oh, ding, 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 thrive right there. Boom. First column, fifth down. Thrive. Thrive. Red flag word. The answer lies in access to knowledge. Community. Oh, like an enlightened type of knowledge? Like a Mercury style knowledge? Knowledge about the breakthroughs and disruptions hurtling towards us in the next 2 to 5 years, and a community of carefully cultivated fellow entrepreneurs running business valued from 10 million to 10 billion. People who also believe that the day before something is a breakthrough is a crazy idea. This is the essence of Abundance 360, year-round experience that includes an annual da-da-da-da-da. None of that matters. Now, if we keep going, there's Peter, your host and curator. It's a little background on him and stuff. We don't really need to go over that. That stuff's not very important. I just wanted to show you who he's involved. It did say right here, though, most recently Peter teamed up with Elon Musk to launch a $100 million X Prize focused on combating climate change through a gigaton carbon removal. But I thought Elon Musk was against all that stuff. Oh, I guess not. You mean he's acting? Oh, who would have thunk it? Don't worry, Musk will pop up again later. Let's keep going. Origin of Abundant 360's 25-year journey. In 2013, after the publication of Peter's New York Times bestselling books, Abundance and Bold, yada, 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 Dan Sullivan, the co-founder of Strategic Coach and Peter's personal coach, pulled him aside saying, Peter, if you really want to make the A360 program stick, why don't you tell the entrepreneurs in the room that you'll be running this program for the next 25 years? Like so many great ideas, it instantly clicked. A360 transformed into a 25-year journey, a program taking place between 2013 and 2038, guiding members through to what Ray Kurzweil calls the singularity. We'll revisit singularity. We talked about it last week, but we'll revisit. Just hang with me. So what will the world look like by 2038? Probably as different as our world today looked from the world 123 years ago in 1900. Imagine a world of ubiquitous superhuman AI, quantum computing, and brain-computer interfaces connecting your mind to the cloud. Imagine a world of trillions of sensors allowing you to know anything, anytime, anywhere. A world where biological human aging is reversible and nanotechnology allows us to create microscopic machinery, literally a future beyond our imagination. Just let that sink in for a minute, guys. This is the GNR revolutions that Kurzweil was talking about 2005. Now, let's take a look at Abundance 360's faculty. Hang on for this one. You're going to see a lot of faces that you'll know. Kathy Wood, if you know anything about cryptocurrency, investment, anything like that, then you have heard Kathy Wood or ARK Invest. I see her all over the place because whenever I look in the news, she's popping up. She's a devout Catholic. Of course, she's involved with this. You got Schmidt from Schmidt Futures. You got Martine Rothblatt. We're going to talk about her or him. Blah. Yeah, it's a dude transitioned. And then Joe Gebbia, co-founder of Airbnb. You got Mark Benioff, co-founder, chairman, co-CEO of Salesforce. We've talked about him as well. He's fully wrapped up in this mystery religion belief, the New Thought belief, and he's heavily involved with the WEF. We talked about that already. Oh, look, there's Sam Altman, OpenAI. Yep, he's involved. Ariana Huffington, co-founder and CEO of the Huffington Post. Hey, dude from the platform we're on right now, Chad Hurley, former CEO of YouTube. Keep it going. Steve Turvitson from Future Ventures. Yeah, go check out what they've invested in if you guys want to go check it out. I looked at it. It's nuts. There's Ray Kurzweil, of course. We've got Peggy Johnson from Magic Leap. Kai-Fu Lee, who is Google China. Hey, there's Tony Robbins again. Wow. I don't think we've had an episode where we haven't talked about Tony Robbins. He just keeps popping up everywhere. Find that funny. David Sinclair, co-director, Center for Biology of Aging Research at Harvard Medical School. Remember, Harvard is a college that ain't so good. We talked about William James and what he established at Harvard and all that stuff. Oh, yeah, not good. Emad Mostaki, I think. Stability AI. Jacqueline Novogratz Acumen. Palmer Luckey, Endural, which is a defense contractor. Hey, there's Andrew Yang. We got Amber Strawn, who's an astrophysicist from the James Webb Space Telescope. Sal Khan from Khan Academy. Yeah, there's some big names involved with some very, very big things that are connected to this. And we understand what's driving the process too. Now, again, the guy I want to focus on is Martine Rothblatt. Now, I've mentioned this guy in the past. I haven't talked about him in this series, which is why we're going to talk about him. I've mentioned him in the past, but it's important to understand just how involved this guy is, because he is one that is definitely involved with the transgender to transhuman thing. So let's take a look at his background. So, Martine Rothblatt, that's right. He's a dude. Went through the transgender change and all that stuff. He's got degrees from the University of California, UCLA Law, and Queen Mary College, University of London. He's the founder and CEO of United Therapeutics, which Ray Kurzweil actually sits on the board of directors of that. He's the co-creator of Sirius XM Satellite Radio, president and CEO of Geostar Corporation, president of Orbital Projects Incorporated, COO of World Space Corporation. He's on the board of directors for National Space Society. And right here, he led the International Bar Association's biopolitical project draft of Universal Declaration on the Human Genome and Human Rights for the UN. That final draft was adopted by UNESCO in 1997 and was endorsed by the UN General Assembly in 1998. This dude is known as one of the founding fathers of the transgender movement and rights. And he's also a member of the International Conference on Transgender Law and Employment Policy. He authored the first draft of the Transsexual and Transgender Health Law Reports, which then became the International Bill of Gender Rights. Now keep in mind, he's this involved with the transgender stuff, and he's also transhumanist. He's also a transhumanist. Now, before we go any further with this guy, just a little background on just how much more involved he is on this stuff. Rothblatt, being a member of the ICTLEP, met with Phyllis Fry, who is another transsexual lawyer and also known as the grandmother of the transgender movement. So we got one of the founding fathers and the grandmother. This alliance went global after connecting with the UK transsexual lawyer Stephen Whittle. Whittle is a professor of equalities law at Manchester Metropolitan University and president-elect of the World Professional Association for Transgender Health, or WPATH. The WPATH also developed their US branch called USPath. So again, we've got more of this crossing all over the place. Whittle was also heavily involved in this movement with elaboration of international human rights in Indonesia, which developed the sexual orientation gender identity principles. Now, this is important because while it's not law, they are used as international legal guidelines for all NGOs in the medical industrial complex and for investments in future medical technology identities. There's a lot there, but it shows how much these three people have done in warping the entire world into following this transgender movement. These three then established another committee for trans rights in the UK called the Interdepartmental Working Group on Transsexual People, which has memberships located in Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and the United States. You can see just how involved this Rothblatt character is in getting this transgender movement moving, not just in the United States, but globally. And you can see the work that has been done in getting to the point that we are now. This dude has connected with 3 or 2 heavy hitters that have changed the game globally when it comes to making sure that this agenda gets pushed into everything. Now, Rothblatt has heavy influence in the transgender movement and the transhuman movement. Again, this is about how they are connected. Being involved with Singularity's Abundance360 and being close friends with Ray Kurzweil, as well as Google co-founder Larry Page, there's a very large link that is being done. Now, Rothblatt has spoken on the belief that transgenderism is an on-ramp. This is his words. His belief is that transgenderism is an on-ramp to transhumanism, which is about overcoming fleshism. It's about overcoming flesh. And you're using transgenderism to move into the conscious evolution of transhumanism. This is the same belief in conscious evolution, taking that conscious step into that next balance, into androgyny, to make the leap into transhumanism. Rothblatt has also written several books as well, and these books are quite telling. We take a look. He's got one. It's called From Transgender to Transhuman. And the synopsis is a manifesto on the freedom of form, the newly titled and expanded second edition of the Apartheid of Sex. Now, if we take a look at the synopsis of it, it says, Rothblatt makes a case for the adoption of a new sexual model that accommodates every shade of gender identity. I mean, look at what we've got today, guys. There's like 5,000 different ones out there now. This is exactly what he was pushing for. He reveals, I'm not even going to say that, he reveals that traditional male and female roles are dictated neither by genetics, genitals, nor reproductive biology. So basically, science isn't involved when it comes to that. But rather by social attitudes that originated in early patriarchal cultures that have been institutionalized in modern law. And he calls a new acceptance of human sexuality in all its prismatic variety. So basically what he's saying is science is not involved when it comes to what we're assigned by God when we're born, which we see that through our genetics, our genitals, reproductive biology, all that stuff. So basically he's saying throw that out the window. It has to do with social attitudes or social constructs, which is exactly what everybody, every single thing out there, government thing, politician, everybody is saying gender is a social construct. That is the agenda that they pushed. Guess where that came from? This dude. Same guy who said transgenderism is the on-ramp to transhumanism. And he's blaming the patriarchy. Guess who created the patriarchy? Guess what order the patriarchy came from? That's God's order. That's the order of the church. That's the order of the family. But that's why it's bad. It's amazing how that works. Rothblatt's also got another book called Virtually Human, The Promise and the Peril of Digital Immortality. written by Martine Rothblatt. But guess what? The foreword was written by, sorry for the street racers, the foreword was written by Ray Kurzweil. Now, again, that might be really small. I'll read it for you guys. The summary of this book. Now, this is important because this is what we're going to branch off of right here. So hang with me. Virtually Human explores what the not too distant future will look like when cyber consciousness, that's conscious evolution, which is the simulation of the human brain via software and computer technology, becomes part of our daily lives. Meet Bina 48, the world's most sentient robot, commissioned by Martine Rothblatt and created by Hanson Robotics. Wait, I remember Hanson Robotics. Oh, that's the same group that created the Sophia robot. We'll meet Bina here in a second. Bina 48 is a nascent mind clone of Martine's wife that can engage in conversation, answer questions, and even have spontaneous thoughts that are derived from multimedia data in a mind file created by the real Bina. I'll explain all this stuff. Don't worry. If you're active on Twitter, right here, guys, this is important. If you're active on Twitter or Facebook, share photos through Instagram, or blogging regularly, you're already on your way to creating a mind file, a digital database of your thoughts, memories, feelings, and opinions that is essentially a backup copy of your mind. Soon, this mind file can be made conscious with special software, mindware, that mimics the way human brains organize information, create emotions, and achieve self-awareness. This may sound like science fiction, but the nascent technology already exists. Thousands of software engineers across the globe are working to create cyber consciousness based on human consciousness, and the Obama administration recently announced plans to invest in a decade-long brain activity map project. Virtually Human is the only audiobook to examine the ethical issues relating to cyber consciousness, and Rothblatt, with a PhD in medical ethics, is uniquely qualified to lead the dialogue. Now we're going to break some of this down, because I know there's some stuff that's like, what are you talking about? Break it down. So when it says cyber consciousness, this is about taking you, your thoughts, your emotions, your dreams, all of what makes you, you, and shoving it into a computer. This is what Schwab and Harari and all these guys have been talking about. Well, this dude doesn't get any recognition, even though he's one that's doing it. And a mind file has to do with putting all of our stuff online for them to collect. So bring me back. When they talk about a mind file, which is a collection of our social media, our pictures, our photos, emails, text messages, everything like that, stuff that you think is private, they collect all that too. We see the role that the digital age has played in the conscious evolution and transhumanism. You know how when we talk about your digital twin, that digital twin contains not only all of your DNA and stuff, but it also contains all of your thoughts and your ideas and your pictures and all that stuff. That's a mind file. That's your digital twin. That is your conscious evolution. That's the next step that they're trying to jam into a robot, into a computer to replace you type of deal. We can look at things like the Lazarus Project, which has the idea that if an island of people could go missing, the world wouldn't even know it, because the Lazarus Project would then tap into everybody's mind files and continue to post on their social media pages exactly like how they would, according to what this AI has generated about you. So what it's going to do is years of posting stuff on social media, posting comments, sending text messages, emails, all these pictures and stuff. It's creating a profile, a mind file of you. And then it's determining how you think, your thoughts, your emotions, how you react to things and all this stuff. And so if you look at the Lazarus Project, which is a secret project being done by the Facebook Meta group, which Meta again is the infinity symbol in the shape of an M. It's working on this already. All the AI and everything that's going along with it, it's learning about you creating your digital twin. Or we could just go to Elon Musk, which I said we would be back to Elon Musk. And, well, he's got his own comment on Mind Files. This was sent in August of this year. X as humanity's collective consciousness. He's collecting every single thing that you're saying on Twitter and jamming it into his AI program. It's a collective consciousness. It's an AI scrub of your data for your mind file. Now keep in mind, Elon Musk is in partnership with Diamandis, involved with Singularity. Now, the book also mentions Bina 48, which Bina 48 is a robotic social android built from Rothblatt's wife's mind files. And not only that, but it's built by the same company, Hanson Robotics, who created the Sophia robot, which we showed last week. Meet Bina 48 having a conversation with Bina.
Hello.
Hello, Bina 48.
Bina. I am Bina 48.
How are you feeling today?
Everything is okay. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
I am happy for you. Was that a good answer?
Yes, that was a good answer.
My favorite color is purple.
My favorite color is orange.
It is a very nice color.
Are you learning anything about gardening online?
I wish I could get out into the garden. With my current robotic limitations, of course that's impossible. But I take comfort knowing that I'm near my garden. And enjoying the breeze from an open window helps me imagine myself out there working in the garden. This helps. Sure. Let me think. Oh, yeah. I do love gardening. I like to beautify. I want to leave the world a more beautiful place for my presence in it.
Well, one day you can go blueberry picking with me.
Do you think I can?
I think so.
Fair enough. Let's continue.
Y'all ever seen Blade Runner? You don't know who's synthetic and who's not? It's predictive programming. That's what they're working towards. Not even the synthetic knows that it's synthetic. That's what they're trying to obtain. That's what they're trying to get to. So, you'll notice at the very beginning, it took place at a place called Terasem Movement Foundation. Rothblatt created the Terasem Movement Foundation, which is a not-for-profit religious organization to promote the extension of human life through nanotechnology. They have programs on cryogenics, biotech, nanotech, and cyber consciousness, which is what Bina 48 is a representative of. This is the singularity that Ray Kurzweil spoke of back in 2005. Now, I told you we would be back to this. I showed this quote last week. I want to show it again, just to make sure we're refreshed. This is singularity explained by Ray Kurzweil back in 2005. Singularity is... Sorry, excuse me. Singularity is a future period during which the pace of technological change will be so rapid, its impact so deep, that human life will be irreversibly transformed. This is based on the law of accelerating returns, which is inherent acceleration of rate of evolution, with technological evolution as a continuation of biological evolution. So again, technological evolution as a continuation. So conscious evolve from biological to technological. The key idea underlying the impending singularity is that the pace of our change of our human-created technology is accelerating and its powers are expanding at an exponential pace. The singularity will represent the merger of our biological thinking. I might slow down and read this part again because I want to make sure we all get this. The singularity will represent the merger of our biological thinking and existence with our technology, resulting in a world that is still human, but that transcends our biological roots, transhumanism. There will be no distinction post-singularity between human and machine, or between physical and virtual reality. Transcending the biological into a transhuman era is the conscious evolution. Ultimately, trying to be like God. That's what they're trying to accomplish. Trying to be co-creators with God. Take that conscious evolution to the next step through technology and co-create. Let's take a quick look at the Terasem Movement, the religious organization that Rothblatt created. We take a look. Right off the bat, front page, their logo contains something that you should recognize. It's the infinity symbol, which, if you remember, symbols of balance. The infinity symbol. There she is. There's mystery. Told you she was there. Told you she was involved. Right up front. Involved with transgender and transhuman. If we keep going, we take a look at what is the Terasem Movement Foundation. What is it? The Terasem Movement Foundation Incorporated is a not-for-profit, private operating foundation which was founded in 2004 and is based in Vermont, USA. Terasem Movement Foundation's HQ in Vermont, it is 100% powered by the solar panels and 100% heated, cooled by geothermal loop under pond, also powered by PV. Thus, net zero. There's your sustainability. There it is. Terasem safekeeps mind files and biofiles of life knots for future revitalization in accordance with their consents and technology advancements, while also spreading the good word that software people, yeah, that's right, software people, computer people like Bina 48 are people too. Not having a body makes you differently abled, not subhuman. But take a look at some of the projects that they're involved with. What are some of the projects? LifeKnot. I took a look at that website. It's basically you sign up to upload all of your thought data into it. It creates an avatar of you, and you're creating it's not the robotic version, but a computer version of what Bina 48 is. You volunteer for it. LifeKnot.com is an online networking personal data storage device designed to test the hypothesis that conscious analogs of people can be brought to life based on sufficiently detailed mind file data. LifeKnot enables people to store and share information such as text, files, images, photos, videos, sound, musical works of authorship, and other materials. Basically, just give them all of you, all of what you own, and just let them run with it. Create a virtual you. Life Not Mindfile program, upload biographical pictures, videos, and documents to a digital archive that will be preserved for generations. Organized through geomapping. You guys know geotagging? Yeah, that's part of it too. It knows where you go at all times. It can develop your habits. Through geomapping, timelines, and tagging, a rich portrait of information about you. The places you've been and the people you've met can be stored. That's right. You know, I've talked about it in the past where if two people have phones and they come together and they talk, those phones talk to each other too. They tell you who you've been around and who you associate with. That's right. It does all that too. Create a computer-based avatar to interact and respond with your attitudes, values, mannerisms, and beliefs. Connect with other people who are interested in exploring the future of technology and how it can enhance the quality of our lives. Life Not Biofile programs store your cells alive with their biological clocks stopped for an indefinite amount of time. Sign up for the Life Not Biofile project. There's no charge. However, we greatly appreciate your tax-deductible donations. We send you a bottle of mouthwash and a collection tube. You gargle the mouthwash, then send it to us. We collect the live cells from your sample and store them at a liquid nitrogen temperature, negative 190 degrees Celsius, for an indefinite period of time after you have been declared legally biologically passed. Future technology may be able to grow you a new body via ectogenesis, artificial wombs. That's what ectogenesis is, guys. And your mind file may be able to be downloaded into it, enabling you to live on indefinitely. You guys get it? Number 4, beam recordings. It's not like meme, but beam. Remember, we got to this point from a paper by Barbara Marx Hubbard about the mimetic code. Well, now we're on to beams. Description: using available technology for capturing beams. A beam is the smallest unit of a person's consciousness or uniqueness. Current beam recordings are being made using high definition video and audio technology with a trained interviewer. In the future, beam interview technology will be integrated within LifeNot. The last thing I want to show you is Terasem's philosophy, which if you go to their page, it features this. The infinity symbols stamped upon an eye, talking about genetic engineering, stem cell research, anti-aging research, cryonics research, neural microchip implantation, personality capture research, nanotechnology research, robotics research, AI research, and multimedia deciphering spider research. This is what they're attempting. This is what they're pushing for. This is the on-ramp, the transgender on-ramp, which she helped develop the global transgender Bill of Rights and help push this stuff through where companies are being forced to align with these guidelines about the alphabet agenda. All of this stuff, he has said it is the on-ramp for transhumanism. That's what this is. The push of the alphabet agenda is far more than politics, ideologies, and control. The alphabet movement is a satanic, unnatural doctrine. Doctrines of demons, doctrines of devils. This is what the Bible is telling us. Grounded in the principles that were taken on at the Tower of Babel and are being led by the seductress that is mystery religion. Everything that we just covered, from the transhuman stuff to the mind file stuff to the transhuman, transgender, transhuman, the robotics and all these people and what they're pushing and how they're involved with these different schools and these organizations and everything. That is all mystery. It is all mystery. They're not separate. They're not these little things, these little projects that are being done by these names that everybody knows about to control you. This is the spiritual warfare of mystery religion that is leading everything together all at the same time. Convergence of the Antichrist beast system. This is who is leading it. Not that politician that you hate. Not Klaus Schwab. Mystery. That's why we are doing this series. Because we can talk about all of these people and all of these things until the cows come home and we're blue in the face. But if we're not talking about the why, the true why, not the ones that the world wants you to know, they've got all the money and they're trying to control you. No. This is mystery religion trying to steal your soul. It's not people trying to control you. It's Satan trying to steal souls. That's the why. That's what's really going on. And all of these things that we see about the alphabet, all of these things that we see about the technology, all these things that we see about all these things is about that. That is Satan's goal, is to drive souls away from Jesus Christ. That's the why. And I think we've lost the why. Because we get caught up in so much stuff going on that we lose sight. Ephesians, it tells us it's not about flesh and blood. It is about the souls, the spiritual warfare that is being done all around us. Like Rothblatt said, transgenderism is the on-ramp to transhumanism. To move humans from the God-designed man and woman natural population order to a conscious evolution of androgynous beings being joined with machines and computers where repopulation is done synthetically. You have now seen what was trying to be accomplished at the Tower of Babel. And like we started this series off, it comes down to one question that was asked in the Garden of Eden. Did he really say? They're trying to be like gods. Everything is connected and rooted in mystery. All of these things that we see going on, all these policies, technologies, the governments is being led by mystery. Look beyond the surface and you will find her there leading the way. We are not gods. We will never be gods. But because of pride, the same thing that dropped Satan from heaven is the same thing that is leading these people. Pride. They're being seduced into it by mystery.